But education, do I think it's important? It is important, but it's not the be all and end all of life. And I think the biggest problem that
academics.
Yeah, the biggest problem that a lot of us, I can't talk for everyone, I can talk for Nigerian West Africans, is that they focus so much on being an engineer, being a doctor, forgetting that there are so many other career fields in this life. And I always talk about things like labouring jobs, like electricians, plumbers, builders. Like, I've got a mate who's 24, his name's Michael. He's got an electric company. He's now passed his pat testing. This guy's making a good between £600 and £800 a day from electrics. He didn't go to uni. And don't get me wrong, university is something you need to go to. Say if you want to be a doctor, you can't do work experience of being a doctor. Like, you can't just blag it. You need to learn the books. But there's so many things in life that you don't need education for. And I remember, I've gone to university, I've got a degree. I got it in business management and marketing. So I'm not saying it like, I'm not saying it to say you shouldn't get one. But for instance, a lot of people study marketing degrees, business degrees, useless in my opinion. Waste of degree. You can go into that without actually needing to do the degree. So education is important to an extent, but for me it's not the be all and end all. See, what's crazy though is that I do mentoring with some kids in Birmingham. And you know what's mad is that there's three of the boys, two of them have been handing out CVs and application forms aggressively. No responses. And that's the maddest thing, is that a lot of the times when we see these young boys doing these crazy things, these young boys actively are trying to find jobs. And when they couldn't find a job for about 5 months, they hit the road. And it's not an excuse, you shouldn't be selling drugs. So I'm not trying to say it's okay for them, but I've actively seen them giving out CVs, trying to get jobs, but they can't land a job. And that's the maddest thing. And see, when we talk about county lines and that, yeah? Imagine this brother's in Birmingham. Imagine they sent him to Scotland. This brother lives in Birmingham and he was spending 3-4 nights in Scotland. He'll get the National Express coach from Birmingham coach station all the way to Scotland. And often when we talk about grooming, we usually talk about it in the sense of girls and older men and young girls. We never talk about it about when these adults are sending out these young boys to go to Cunch, to go and sell their drugs. So anyone who's at the age of 14, 15 is grooming. They're minors. They don't have their NN number to be working. Yet they're being sent up to Scotland. I'm not saying if it was in a mile away it makes any better, but you're sending someone way up to Scotland. Even at our age now, imagine someone telling you to relocate or work in Scotland. You're talking about a 14, 15-year-old. It's mad. When you go into security, you need to start recruiting people. So they're under you now. So what you start doing now is this: your security, you learn the ins and outs. Yeah. You then get a company that you know that can do the badges, because you've got to go on a course, right? So you then partner up with that company. Then all you've got to do now is this: you just need to start recruiting people and say, "Rah, what are you doing at the moment? You want to do security? I do security." You get them their badge, and what happens now is this: let's say someone's charging £15 an hour. Yeah. What you do is this: you basically give them £10 an hour. So you're getting 15, you're giving them 10. They're happy because they're getting the work. So you're making £5 extra an hour. It's simple. It's simple.
So
that's it.
You know, if you got like 6-7 men under you, basically,
That's it.
Yeah.
It's business isn't that hard.
It's working smarter.
That's
it.
So I was about to do 60 hours a week. For 5 days. For 60 hours a week.
All you've got to do now is this: so you want to go into boxing or anything. All you need to do is start doing your boxing. You're going to find you're going to have people around you who are into martial arts. There's nothing better than having people on the door who know MMA. There's nothing better than that. Because if I get to the door and I see a man that knows MMA, not that I'm in that kind of trouble crowd, but you behave a bit. You know what I mean? You kind of, but that's what if you want to get into that, that's what you do. Go into security, learn the ins and outs. Somebody's going to want £15 an hour to pay you to do it. You then give them £10 an hour. If you've got 10 man, doing that. That's 5 times 10. That's £500. That's £50 an hour. Sorry. And if they're doing 5-hour shifts,
it's going to be 17.50 when I start. 17.50. So 7.
And that's business. Yeah. And then remember, that person's now going to have another brethren who's going to want to. Oh, what are you doing? I'm doing security. Raw. How'd you get the job? Yeah. That's it. You start at this age, and think about 5 years time, you might have 100 people under your belt.
And that's
business. And funny thing is that I had one of my family friends called Raphael. Big him up. He's annoying though, but big him up. From when I was young, I saw him selling cars. He showed me how to buy and sell cars. And it was from buying and selling cars that I didn't do road. Because a lot of the brothers my age who were 21, 22, they didn't know how to make money legally. So they were making money on the road. So I've done illegal stuff. I'll never act like I'm a saint. Because when people talk about their journey, a lot of times people don't add the bad stuff in it. Because sometimes you look at people who've got money, you're asking, how did you get the money? And let's be real, you're not just landing 200-300 bags from doing a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Some people do, but let's just keep it real in it. But when I was young, I did some naughty stuff, but I was able to transition from the naughty stuff to selling cars because my family friends showed me that you can make money from selling cars, and a lot of times these young boys just want to make money. And when I speak to these boys that I'm mentoring, they say, you know what, I don't want to sell drugs, you know. They said I don't want to sell drugs, it's just that I need money. If you can find me a job, I'll get a job. But a lot of them are struggling to find jobs. And it's that older influence is that I can either be positive or negative. And one thing I saw with my Uncle Ralph, he was a ladies' man. But anytime it was time to make money and girls wanted to see him, he would cancel. Always cancel the link. He'd be like, I'm not going to go and meet her. There's money to make. And a lot of the times it's I'm not going to say it's women's fault, but it's our lack of discipline as men that messes us up. A lot of the young black boys, yeah, were all good at sports, good at basketball, good at football. What was the problem? Discipline.
Mike Tyson's a good example.
Discipline. You think of all these black boys, the majority of how can I word this? Because this is not a race thing, but the majority of when I used to play football, the better ballers, the majority of them were black. I'm not even like, it's just that was my era anyway.
Some of the best ballers in my age group are in jail.
Don't black. I was being real.
No, some of the best man.
Like, I used to play for
My age group are in jail. Even if I didn't get my degree,
yeah,
I'd have still been the same person I am.
of course.
But I'll tell you the one good thing I took out of uni, like the one most important thing, time.
Yeah,
Because I learned time and discipline from uni because I realized that if I could give my money to study and I could give my time to study, and I used to be in the library and computer room a lot of times till like 11, 12 at night. So when I realized that I could be in uni that long, I figured that it's easy for me to be disciplined working and that. So at the moment, for instance, I get up at like 5:30 in the morning, I train clients from like 5:30 back to back to back, take a little break, train clients again. Then I realized if it wasn't for uni, I wouldn't have found that discipline to be able to get up early in the morning, and you know what I mean? Because I was like, if I could get up in the morning to do something that I hate and I'm there on time all the time, why can't I get up in the morning to do what I like with ease? You get what I'm saying? But before uni, I didn't have that kind of discipline there. I had to learn to not slack and learn to make 95% of my lectures. You get me? I'm not going to say that I was always there all the time, but I had to learn to make 95% of my lectures. But that taught me how to stay on point with everything I do now, where I'm very, very disciplined because I know that if I don't work a certain amount or I don't stack a certain amount, no one's gonna pay me. You get what I'm saying? Like, I have to do everything to a certain way or I'm not gonna see no results, because it's not like if I take a day off or 5 days I'm gonna get sick pay. I'm self-employed. So that's what uni taught me to, go get what you want.